Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Ideal Comics Slow Jam. Any minute now, Barry's gonna jump on, and we're gonna talk about whatever business there is to do at the moment. And I'm actually gonna share this out on the Twitter, so bear with me. Guess I probably could have done that before we went live. But that's not how it happened. So, because I'm just that kind of get together. So, let's see. Do-do-do. Still no sign of Barry. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And okay, there we go. Yep.
That's weird. I had to use it twice. The other time it said ended, so I'm not sure. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
All right, check my cam. I'm gonna try to go in and see if it'll let me keep on drawing.
Okay.
It should let me. Still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Can you see my cam and all that ugly face?
No, I do not see your camera, but that's okay. Yeah, I've got my screen up there. I was doing some lettering before you got here, so.
Right.
Yep, yep, yep.
I have a thing on here that lets me screen share, or it's supposed to, but I've never been able to figure it out. Where did it go? Maybe I deleted it.
Good girl, man. What you working on tonight?
I was doing a warm up. I was doing that Omega Red thing, and then I'm gonna go on to some Ideal Comic stuff.
Cool. I am working on the next Forces page, which I hope to get uploaded tonight.
Yeah, I see that. Looks like they have lightsabers and shit. Cool.
One, okay, it's a plasma blade.
Yeah.
So, this is Chris Block. He's one of the characters that we're borrowing from the defunct comic Broccoli Top.
Right.
And
Okay.
he's sort of an inventor and an engineer. So, Tolly and I were spitballing and decided to give him an energy blade, an energy katana, and we just had some fun with that and sent it over to the creator, and he loved it. And so we drew up a little schematic that's on our Patreon right now. People can take a look at.
Right on.
So yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
It's
I'm
coming
really
along.
loving the
Coming
story.
along.
It's taken forever to get finished up because of everything else going on, but
And you're using clip art?
Clip Studio
In
mostly.
Clip Studio? Yeah.
I've started lettering it using the Paint Shop Pro when I started it, and so
Yeah.
I'm keeping it going with that so it's consistent. But I've jumped to coloring it in Clip Studio.
Is that working better for you then?
Now that I know how to do it, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
program.
It's a pretty, yeah, it's so, yeah, it's pretty fancy.
It's friggin' remarkable, is what it is.
Mhm. Yep. Very nice. Let me see if I can. I probably can't share my screen, can I, unless you do it? Right on. And are we on Facebook or YouTube?
We are on YouTube.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Well, all right. There's some actual stuff we need to talk about, but I don't know. I forgot suddenly what it is.
Well, I remember some of them.
Okay.
Just a second. I'm tweaking this balloon a little. It's taking a lot of it.
Right. A lot of the attention out of your brain.
So I'm working on designs for the cards. That's one thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm supposed to meet with Rolf sometime coming up here to get those Buckskin Boon pages for our Buckskin Boon one shot, which is going to be fun. It'll need inked again, but that's where we're at with all of that. Let's see here. Did you ever put those other pages up on the Google Drive, the expositioner pages?
No, I want to touch them up first. There was some errors and inconsistencies with some of the earlier color schemes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want to touch those up before I put them up there, so we can put stuff on them. I was looking at that earlier because I forgot to bring them, or I couldn't bring them. I have them up there earlier, so I figured why not.
Well, the one thing though is, since we're doing the Clip Studio files, if you get me what you can, I can dial them, and then we can always drop the new layers behind it.
Sorry, what was that you were cutting out?
Oh, I said one of the things we can always do, because I've got Clip Studio now, is that excuse me, is that if you send them to me now, I can work on the dialogue, and then if you change the color scheme up, we can always drop that behind the balloons.
True.
So that's not such a huge thing, but Did you get a chance to read the PDF yet?
I did.
What
It
did
looks good. I don't see any. It looks good.
Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and send that out to our backers so they can kind of get a sneak peek.
Right.
I'll get that sent out in the next couple days so they can see what we got going.
Yeah.
Late.
Some progress.
Yeah.
So I'm using this water like pen. It's supposed to be a water glaze, but I'm using it. I shrunk it down enough so it looks like a pencil if I draw lightly, and then push a little harder, it looks like a pen. It's
Yeah.
I'm really liking it. It's pretty fancy.
Is it like an effect or?
It's so instead of using like a pencil or an ink switching back and forth between a pencil and pen, because in the Procreate here it's just called water glaze, right? So if I put it up to like a normal size thing, it's gonna put like a wash glaze, like a wet glaze across some art. But if I shrink it down to a point size, if I draw lightly, it looks just like a pencil. If I draw push slightly harder, it goes to an ink pen.
That's
fun. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
playing with that Procreate, doing learning all kinds of stuff. So
what's that?
I said Amy's been working with that Procreate here recently.
Yeah, isn't that fancy? God,
yeah,
nice.
Learning all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a terrific program. I'm really it's yeah, I'm lucky, and it's just nice. It's cheap. It's like ridiculous. It's no extra fees. Just buy it for $10 and you're good to go.
That is nice, that's for sure.
Has she been doing any like comic art or just art or just experimenting?
Yeah, she's been playing with actually Zing 1 pages.
Nice.
On learning about like flatting.
Yep. Flatting's really
she's been using the Zing 1 pages as a what you call it, as an experiment.
Yeah, flatting's amazing in Procreate. So Procreate's flatting abilities, its drag and drop color abilities, is a lot like Photoshop, and which Rico was loving when he was playing with it. And I haven't used Photoshop, especially that angle of Photoshop, for so long that I was not familiar with it. But it looked, it just, it's easy, it's wonderful, it's really nice like that. So yeah.
So the beauty of that is that, coming up here, hopefully we'll be able to put together a colored edition of.
I was gonna say colored edition
would be
sweet.
Which
did you show her that one artist that does the coloring, so that that talks about like how you need to turn the pitch and the shadow down on your whatever on
I didn't show her that, but we've talked about it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh.
Yep. Oh, can you share my screen at all?
If I see it, I just see your face now.
Okay. Yeah. Someone's chatting at us. Let me see who's it. Hey, what's going on, Metal? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Metal?
Yeah. This thing kind of shows it differently than I'm not used to it all. Yeah. Let me see if I can. Right now, I'm back on my face. Let me pull up. Let's see here. Can I? I'm not sure if it lets me share or what. Because I have audio, video, flip, chat. All right. Yeah, I probably won't. If it's just only showing my face, it probably won't. I'll have to figure out how to share my screen later on or something. That's cool. I just wanted to show you how this thing lets me draw from like a pencil to ink pen. It's just wild. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, anything to shave a couple of steps out.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll still go. I still do some. I'm still working on that style I was doing. Where I skip a lot of stuff by smudging and everything like that. Whatever.
I did have one thing I wanted to run past you. So, I was talking to Doug Garrett earlier today, and he and some other the indie guys that I'm familiar with are going in together to build a referral website. That's kind of a catch-all for different projects and indie, both crowdfunded and like samples and referrals to other websites and that kind of thing. And they're going to have Legends of the Lone Wolf on there. They've got a Tony Sizzle comic that's on there. They've got the Napalm Brothers link on there and all kinds of stuff. And I was wondering if you thought that it would make sense to see if we could get some stuff on there and have a referral over to our website.
I don't see why it wouldn't hurt anything. I mean,
okay.
What's the downside of that?
Well, I just want to make sure it's cool with you. I mean, I don't want to do anything, unilaterally.
Right.
I can't think of a downside. One is one possibility too is that they could host a if we had any for like free comics, like PDFs we wanted to give out, they could actually host them on there too.
Oh, nice.
And so I was thinking about maybe even just for a limited time or whatever, but putting up that Expositioner Chasing Whisper that we used your pencils for, and
do
the inks and Tollivan did the story.
Yeah.
Would that be cool with you?
I think so.
Well, I will send that over to them, and then we'll have that'll be good, I think. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, building community is a good thing.
That's kind of what I would.
Unless there's, can't imagine. Unless there's something you're not telling me, I can't imagine there's anything else.
I know. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like going out on a limb and saying,
right, yeah, just like
do it my way, Barry.
Right.
I don't want to.
I got you. Yeah, it sounds good, man. Okay, copy this. Oops. So weird. Why did it increase?
I know there was other stuff to go over, but I can't think of anything for the life.
I know. I'm
I
trying
remember
to.
one thing. I just remembered. We were going over our trading cards.
Okay.
About that. And on the list, the only one I don't have from you was Rapunzel.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, let me get that working on then real quick.
And I know I need to like write up the stats and everything. I actually printed out some character sheets to go ahead and work on that out, but I hadn't got to it yet. But hopefully I'll have that done soon.
Okay.
I also I did make the editorial decision to change up the order. I'm just to get a couple of extra villains in there. And I don't know if you remember Russ Yoakum, the fellow who did the art for the Al Jin story.
Mm-hmm.
The first, the origin of Al Jin's story from Zing 1. I ran into him on the internet again, and we started chatting about stuff, and I ended up asking him permission to reuse. He and I were collaborating on a pitch for a Ragaman story, 15 years ago or whatever, that we never finished up, never went anywhere.
Right.
But in it, he had designed this really cool demon in a human form character design that I had asked if we could use for the I've Been to Hell story in that. And he was totally cool with that. And I said, that's awesome. I said, also, would you have any interest in drawing up that as a trading card so that we could go ahead and do a little marketing for that story coming up, because we'll be sending those cards out before that next project's finished, and that'll be a neat little add-in if anyone gets that card, and we can talk about it and stuff. And so he's going to work on that card, and then we'll have a really cool. We'll have another villain card to go in the mix.
Right. So does it? So is that? I'm sorry. Is that villain like in the X stuff? Because I know like we were trying to keep things that were associated with X, or just very prominent characters.
Yeah, he's going to be the main villain in I've Been to Hell, and as we're talking about it, I think we may be working on some other projects with that guy coming up here too.
Okay, with Russ.
Yeah, Russ. Yeah.
Okay. Did you draw up or want to draw up like a contract with him, because this stuff is associated with money?
Yep. So we'll before we go to press, I'll make sure I get something in writing from him, because I've got to write up something for Dan's Sakura, because he had bought the face on a villain card. Face on a villain.
Right.
Here. So
right.
I'm gonna get that from him. I just haven't written it up yet, but I'll get that done this week. Both those.
Okay. So what? Okay. So we have a situation kind of here where we're paying somebody money for things that we haven't really made money on. Is that?
No.
Okay. Because the cards are in association with that, and if we're going to drop our contract with Russ,
right? It'll just be one of those credit things we've talked about.
What's that?
So he'll just get designed by credit for the character.
Gotcha. Well, if he's cool with that, I guess so.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a real job. He's a professor.
Right. Yeah, I remember something like that. Yeah.
But if you want, actually, since let me actually load up the sketch that he'd given, that we worked on that collab from way back when. I can show you the thing.
Right on.
You can take a look. I don't know if you can see the screens.
Okay, let me switch over here. Okay. Looks I like the design. It looks a lot like is that the guy from the detective story one?
No, it's different demon. but
Looks a lot like him, and it looks a lot like Professor Putty.
Yep. There is some definite similarities to the villainous of it. Is Molech, so so he's very owl themed. So that's part of how that's going to work out, and so it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun to play with. One of the things we'll need to do is with those guys, make sure you give them very distinct color palettes. So like what separates the Frank Gorshin's Riddler from Cesar Romero's Joker, right? It's not just the face paint and the profile, although that's part of it. It's also got your color scheme that goes in there. Right. I can imagine Professor Putty having a very purple color scheme.
Yeah, I know. I think like he had I didn't design him, but like he had the professor, like the overcoat, didn't he? Like have a white overcoat or whatever. Professor, like a scientist thing or something going on.
Yeah. Well, that's not. He's never really been drawn with that. I always thought Professor was more of a self-titled thing, but we've never drawn him.
Well, it was, yeah. From what I know, like I didn't constantly. I just drew him in that hippie and immigrant story. So
yep.
Yeah. He did. Maybe it was. I guess it was a trench coat one. It was a trench
coat. It was a long coat, bow tie.
Yeah.
More college professor than mad scientist professor.
Yeah. Well, I think it's definitely important that we try to make sure, or I don't know, try to make our villains and all the characters stand out from each other.
Yep. Got to make sure you got that visual style that sticks out with that. So,
a visual style is one thing, but we want them to look different from each other.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things I like about that. I guess I have to close it. Let me see here. One of the things I like about this is you've got the cape, along with the suit, so it looks like a kind of wing-like, but also it has that draping, whereas the Professor Putty doesn't. It wouldn't make sense for him to have any of that. Molech's shorter statured, whereas Professor Putty always seems elongated. Even if he's not, stretched out, he's got that thinness to his body. So that profile can be drastically different.
So where do we sit on timeline for the exposition or crowdfund?
Well, our last update put us. We said we're going to try to deliver in March. That means we have about a month to be done with it. If we're going to print it in enough time to get it delivered in May.
Okay. Do you see the old Rapunzel? Do you see her as an adult, or do you want her in a kid card?
To do what?
Rapunzel as an adult or a kid?
However you want to draw it up, really. I mean, we've kind of already let spoil, that, not let spoil, but I mean, we've shown Greg as an adult. We've shown Chad, as a young adult or two, I guess, So, I mean, we wanted to show Rapunzel as an agent. I think
Okay. Fine. Right on, yeah.
And then one thing we could do on our stat cards, we could actually, say, circa whatever year, they are and, or age whatever on the back of the card, and then explain the difference in power level or whatever too on that.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Because I mean, I know if we have any Rapunzel projects, that the coloring book project or whatever, she'll still be in high school, and then if somebody, gets the card, they can be just like, well, she's not this powerful here. Well, that's she's 17 here, and she's gonna be,
Maybe we should do it her. Maybe just for that reason, we should do the kid Rapunzel first.
Yeah, however we want to do it.
Maybe it makes more sense that way.
I know my intention is to do, Chad, at, 19, just as he's, or I guess he's 18 still. But we start that, welcome to Lincoln, Mr. Little. That's the power level I'm going to put him at in the cards.
Okay. Am I cutting out to you?
Not that I can tell. I might be.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
It's a little chilly down here. I guess if the metal's still with us, he can tell us if I'm cutting out or if you are.
Yeah. I didn't see him in. I can't tell if he's in there or not.
Yeah, it says that we have one viewer, and he said something in the chat, 20 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, say what's up. Ahoy. Let's see here. Don't know. Maybe I should just finish drawing them out. Oops.
Oh, okay. Well, my page is done.
Nice.
On the Patreon here. So yeah, pretty tickled about that. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So. So, well, dude, I think I'm gonna, if it's cool, I'm gonna call it a night, man.
Okay.
So, that's where we're at with projects at the moment, that are working on.
Yep.
And all that jazz. I will email out to our backers the PDF so they can see that.
Okay.
I am also going to go ahead and post the forces page, and get that stuff to Doug. Okay, and actually, before, let me show you the thingy over here. Give me just a second. I'm going to load up the link. I'm going to put it in the chat for later.
Okay. And thanks, Metal, for joining us again. If you're still here, bud. Hope you have a good night if you're working on stuff.
I know he mentioned he was in and out earlier when we were hanging out on the Marmaduke stream earlier, and he was up and away from his table and back again and all sorts of stuff. But
Right on.
comicsunderground.com, and I'm going to go ahead also and make a banner out of it. That's the site, and it's Doug Garrett and Tonic Mole and Sixth Scale Combat and Tony. Damn it, what's Tony's last name? Doesn't matter.
Tiger?
Some of the guys who work on together on the project. Tony Sizzle.
Okay.
And that's that. Also, if you guys check out people that are tuned in later or whatever, you can always support us there on Patreon, ideal_comics. Get a sneak peek of webcomics as they're put together, and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, that's the news. That's the news. We're at it, guys. So, I'm gonna call it a night, and look for new stuff or new stuff to you on forceofgoodevil.net and idealcomics.net, which we will be updating our blog soon. I just need to write some copy. So,
Right on, man.
yeah, man,
Well,
we'll
good enough
later,
stream,
huh?
Maurice. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And yeah, we'll get a bunch of got still all the cards coming out. We got the support, and the project. So yeah. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Yep. Bye.